Hi everyone. Authentic old-timer with discreet bobber look. A vintage bike as authentic as possible in a discreet bobber look, with sensible brakes and electric starter. The templates for us were pictures from books that were full of sticky notes and short notes. The Chevrolet style S&S engine was chosen because it has a more modern technology and the necessary reliability despite its old-style look. This allowed us to use the original old brake levers and clutch levers with cables to the right and left. Spoked wheels and Avon Gangster white wall tires were a must. As was customary in bobbers back then, the front fender was disassembled and the rear was shortened at its kink. The rear pinion brake keeps the right half of the hub free. As with the old drum brakes, under the classic primary lid is a modern dry clutch with belt. The front shotgun manifold was laid between frame and engine for more ground clearance. Rebuilt 1982 Shovelhead FLH Classic. For our Grand Nicholas you could still admire the 1982 FLH as a barn found as a new entry in our special vintage show. After nearly 2 months of restoration, the FLH Classic, powered by a Shovelhead 1340 Qi with second belt drive, now shines in the newer old glamour of the 80s. Refined to the last screw. The Thunderbike top chop is a classic vintage chopper and is based on a 1957 L, which has been refined by us down to the last screw. Many handcrafted parts and surfaces in copper, brass and nickel make this bike an absolute one-of-a-kind. The finish is a homage to the glittering choppers of the 70s. But with the matte nickel surfaces we have set the right contrast to the paint. '77 FLH. What happens if someone works at Thunderbike for more than 10 years? A blanket answer to this not quite serious question there is certainly not. In the special case of Andreas, permanent damage, however, cannot be dismissed out of hand. The former Street Fighter fan completed his retraining as a two-wheeler mechanic in 1999 and has not been able to get away from us ever since. At some point his enthusiasm for American irons grew, and how could it be otherwise? His personal bike had to be something very special. Christian is part of the screwing crew of the Thunderbiker, and of course he has nothing better to do in his spare time than to screw on his own oven. We do not want to deprive you of the result of his passions. A late shovel of 83, with 1340 cc, kick and electric starter. The year has a tremendous advantage that Christian could use a lot of Evo technology, which makes the machine extremely reliable, without destroying the typical shovel look. Thanks for watching.